cement is a core ingredient in our building, our infrastructure, which leads to our economic growth and our development, and the people that are able to live within those communities, to be able to provide an affordable product that gives so many sustainable attributes to the future building of society as well as sustaining society. It's really great to know that we have a product that we can market that does have such a strong future. In terms of sustainability, it's really important with any product, with any aspect that has environmental challenges, that we are not just aware, but we have ways of being able to manage that over time. That's really important for us globally, it's very important for us in India, and it's very important for the country that I come from in Australia. And there are really, I think the World Business Council really captures those challenges really well under its 4 prongs. The first one, of course, being energy efficiency. Being a developed country, Australia really has developed that through having pre-calciner technology across its kilns, which I know India it has the opportunity to make sure that all future kilns will be pre-calciner, and they are. Number 2 is clinker substitution. When we have the ability to draw through other materials and still keep the strength and the durability of the product that's going to reduce emissions within our sector, it's really important that not only our government is engaged, but all our key stakeholders have the confidence these new products can come in and make a substantial difference in terms of our emissions footprint, but at the same time be able to draw through that core building block known as cement. Number 3 is alternative fuels or co-processing, when you can use other materials apart from coal so that we can reduce our emissions. In Australia, wood waste from building materials, so waste that would have just gone straight into a pit as garbage, is being utilised, and our government actually pays for us to use those type of alternative materials, which is a really big tick. And fourthly, and sadly, is CCS, or carbon capture and storage and utilisation, which I don't know if we are going to get there, but it's something that we aspire to, but it's not something that we're building our roadmap around at the current time. The advantages of concrete, we just spent a day in a meeting working through the Sustainability Development Goals, SDGs, and working through, well, what are the actual advantages and also opportunities and risks with each of those different goals. In Australia, we have really focused around climate change, energy costs, making sure we have sustainable and livable cities, ensuring that it is a material that can be used to actually sustain society and make sure that it's a pathway that we can go and live in future generations. A lot of people are only just starting to realise just how important concrete is as an insulator. It's an affordable insulator. You can build a beautiful concrete building and it can keep you cool in summer, which is something that other materials don't have the same benefit. And I'm watching some pretty cool innovation at the moment. In a building just next to me where I live in Australia, they actually got plastic. They poured the concrete into the plastic, so you didn't have to have precast, so you didn't have to drag these big heavy pieces of material. You just poured it straight into the jigsaw puzzle, took the outside away after it was dry, and there you had your precast building. Absolutely the core to success. We can't continue to be using coal. If we are, it should be black coal, but we should be looking at alternatives. And there's a whole myriad of waste out there, which we need to ensure that those regulatory barriers are there to protect us, not to try to push away these materials that can be utilised in such a great way to be able to manufacture such a sustainable product and not end up as landfill. Typical example is tyres. In Australia, 50% of our tyres we don't even know where they're going to. There is a thing called a stewardship program, and it's been an absolute disaster. So be careful in India that you run through the mechanics of being able to use tyres that they can go directly to the kiln, and there's not other players along the supply chain that can either be corrupt or try to take advantage of another government program. So there are so many different things. We have a plant in Victoria in Australia where we actually use paints, solvents, we use pot liners from the aluminium sector, and they're all turned into an alternative fuel. Our kilns are geared for it, and they can even transport it over 1,000 kilometres, and it's still a viable option for that particular kiln. The Indian cement industry, I'm still learning. I come to this conference on an annual basis, and I have met my Indian colleagues who I really appreciate listening to the issues that they are facing, and I'm surprised at how similar they are. And we go back to those 4 prongs around energy efficiency, clinker substitution, alternative fuels, and then hopefully carbon capture and storage. The similar story is there. But what India has the advantage of is that it's a country that's still developing, and so it has the economic advantage of being able to utilise this great material to make sure that it has the building blocks for other infrastructure. And South America is a good example. They forgot to build their roads, and as a result, their agricultural sector, they couldn't get their cattle to market, so their beef industry didn't flourish, even though they had the biggest herds in the world. And India has the opportunity to be able to harness all the lessons from other countries to make it such a great place that it is and continue to be into the future.